afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting Propagandacast from the host Imperial Dane, Master of Propaganda, Heroes Reich, Defender of the Fatherland, with all feats exciting 1 versus 1. On La Glaze breakout between the south, you got Kryptic fighting here for the Soviet Union. For Comrade Stalin, taking on the role here of the 72nd Rifle Division versus North Vonmanteuffel, fighting here for the Oberkommando West. For the Großdeutschland Panzer Division, he's gone here right for Breakthrough Doctrine. Kryptic's got Armored Assault, Lend-Lease and Shock Rifle, but has yet to choose anything. There's a bit of a abundance of IS-2s available to him. Certainly cold in armour. Kugelwagen start here for Vonmanteuffel, rushing ahead there with that. We got more, regular countries out there. We do have an early support from company, which could indicate he might be planning a lot of maxims, though he's actually going for conscripts next as well. Meanwhile, moving towards east, rushing straight for the fuel port, having the Kugelwagen sort of connect up points, and Amsterdam just more focus here right away, thus getting much faster fuel than his opponent. It's a very rapid move up there for Manteuffel. Bulletins are largely empty though, with some Volksgrenadier bulletins to make them a bit harder to suppress, plus Panzerschreck bulletins. Grabbing a bullet point there, moving up here westwards, going for the fuel for much slower pace here than his opponent. And now beginning to spread up, you got the conscript squad number 2 arriving and immediately heading towards here that way, pushing forwards, and of course getting an idea where his opponent is. We actually got a second Kugelwagen for Vonmanteuffel. Bit rare to see double Kugelwagens, but we are seeing more and more of them, at least I am. Less sure about my viewers, though of course you're free to chime in the comments as to Kugelwagen usage by your opponents. But certainly combining it here with breakthrough, using breakthrough tactics, which apparently the Kugelwagens can utilise, could lead to some very interesting bits here. First engagement, engineers versus Volksgrenadiers, held up here in the crater on the road. Kugelwagen going down here, going straight for the munitions right behind Kryptic's lines, harassing that way. Sturmpioneers here couldn't engage the conscripts soon enough. And we got the second Kugelwagen sitting out there. Volksgrenadiers falling up into heavy cover as they're rushing towards the building. To deny that, also ensuring the Russians can't, for example, sneak in there, and that way cast the Volksgrenadiers in a bit of a crossfire. Conscripts getting the Kugelwagen. Kugelwagen needs to go away. Conscripts moving up there. And there you go, going to get spotted here by the Kugelwagen. MG34 opening up there. Kugelwagen number 1 falling back as well in the face of such enemy aggression. And we got more Volksgrenadier there arriving for Vonmanteuffel. Sturmpioneers need to promote support here. We got double Kugelwagens versus the conscripts plus the Sturmpioneers. And that could be a lot of firepower there versus the conscripts. But so far the Sturmpioneers are not moving in. Perhaps they're still just sort of in shift-click orders, thus ensuring, well, you know, he's not paying attention there. Of course, he's focusing on managing the Kugelwagens, so that does give Kryptic a bit better chance of doing some damage, since the Sturmpioneers will be immediately moving up to damage and harass. We've got a shot on the way there for Vonmanteuffel. For that firefight continues here. We've got additional conscripts on the way there. So that does make Kryptic start a bit, you know, cryptic. He went for it very early, but so far it's not utilised, which rather begs the question, why did he build it so quickly? Perhaps he was worried about something, he wants to be ready to react to it, but still strikes me as a bit peculiar. Kugelwagen's falling back here. Sturmpioneers sending out, and they could actually catch the conscript and retreat, do some good damage with the Sturmgewehrs. Ja, gut, Helmut. Shoot them while their backs are exposed to us. That is the tool. Not German way, but you know, it gets the kills. There we go, moving down the Kugelwagen to sort of join up with the Sturmpioneers, who are quickly going to fix it. Battle Group headquarters up here for Vonmanteuffel. Going for the munitions again. We've got 2 sneaking about there. Sandbag being prepared. Kryptic here preparing to defend the points from here. And we got more 2s pushing up the east, so they're going to very quickly run some Sturmpioneers and Kugelwagens if they're not, well, lucky. So, Vonmanteuffel has yet to really utilise his doctor course. He could use breakthrough tactics to rapidly cut off a lot of territory, and for example, under the fuel point very rapidly neutral. That is certainly one option. Battle Group headquarters almost done, sneaking up behind here. Kryptic that way, sort of trying to outmaneuver his opponent. As they're just trying to grind down here, while Vonmanteuffel sort of trying to fortify the centre and others, you know, react to what's going on there. Kugelwagen going in there, turning about, and there you go, opening up with the MG34. Second Kugelwagen arriving. Bit of motorised action there from Vonmanteuffel. And we got a Sturm officer on the way. Not a lot of breakthrough players go for it, but there you go. We also got the anti-tank grenades up here. Though it takes more than one to knock out the Kugelwagen with the Sturmpioneers nearby to support them. They can be quickly sorted out. So there you go, Sturm officer there. It was quite common for German officers to fight at the front, and certainly the junior officers very much expected to do so, lead from the front. Though it did also lead to, well, higher loss rates amongst the junior officers. There certainly was amongst through all the ranks, in fact. And by late 1944-45, it was not too uncommon to actually see, companies, for example, commanded by lieutenants and so on, so on. Little fun fact, then you see caught by the Kulbang, now the Kulbang flanking in there, we've got the Storm Pioneers arriving as well. Storm Officer grabbing points here, not bringing up support here. And Engineers, they're very quick to get out of there. They also got to push here for the fuel plant costs moving in there, even they're fighting his folks in the centre. Kryptic keeps up the pressure elsewhere. Very well done. Folks with Storm Pioneers here, and looks like, I think he's reacting with the Kulbagens to the conscripts. Moving in there, it looks like he is. He's certainly operating as a small patrol unit, a bit of mobility, a bit of firepower, but also the ability to really grab a lot of territory rapidly. We also got Panzer strikes up here. Vonmanteuffel worried about any vehicles, perhaps a special arrived command, but of course we do know he's got the support weapon company up. And there we go, we got the first unit from it. It is the mortar. Conscripts there taking minor losses. Officer here versus the conscripts. Could use target them to, of course, make them a bit easier to take down. Moving up here behind some wreckage, some debris. Jürgen dead. The officer keeps running there, trying to get into the building here, and there we go. Now the conscripts out in the open versus the officer and his crew, his command team. Up here, Volkswagen support the Kulwagen, the conscripts are pushed away. We got veterans 1-on-1, Kulwagen overall 5 kills altogether on the 2. Conscripts up here in heavy cover, making sure the officer can't easily deal with them, though can apparently use his abilities from the start of the building. Storm Pioneers caught out in the open. Nice little setup there, Fox moving down there, perhaps trying to harass. Got mortar engineers moving out there for Kryptic. And of course use the Kulwagen and rapidly grab turret. In this case, he seems to be splitting them up for once. He hasn't really done a lot. Since he up both that, we could see this grenadier versus the mortar perhaps engineers, but no, instead just allowed to be cooked slowly, flambéed, broiled, you name it. Also pushing for the cop on here. Here could actually just use the force retreat ability to push back the conscripts. Looks like he's setting up missions for something else, not just retreats here. Oh well. Mortar opening up here, the 82mm, Volkswagen's falling back. Territory being grabbed by the Kubelwagens. No sign of the doctor besides the officer, but even then just using it. Oh, we got Panzer facilities out as well for Vonmanteuffel. Also, well, not really rare sight. I mean, the Nazis, in fact, well, most places when they go for breakthrough, it is pretty much just only the Panzer facilities, maybe some assault artillery. Officers, no. Breakthrough, no. Obviously not the Jagdtiger, but the Jagdtiger is just too unwieldy, too expensive, too specialised. It's like an even bigger Jagdpanzer IV. Except it's slower, and thusly even less useful somehow, despite its size. I mean, it was somewhat useful as the infantry, but again, that could also be set with the Jagdpanzer IV. Volksgunners need to fall back. Lightest Infanteriegeschütz von Manteuffel responding with his own artillery. Kuban being slowly repaired. Troops hanging about here. Panzerfusiliere doing what they can. Well, essentially, though, the main infantry of the Großdeutschland Panzerdivision, the title was basically, for all intents and purposes, well, just a title. I mean, it was just another way of sort of calling them Panzergrenadiers. They were Panzerfusiliers. They weren't sort of, special reconnaissance troops. Fusiliers were, though part of infantry divisions, Panzerfusiliers were sort of more like Panzer. Well, the Großdeutschland later also are the Panzer Corps. For example, the Hammond Göring fighting. Oh dear! Oh, lost an entire Panzerfusilier unit like that. That was horrible. At least they weren't upgraded. Oh no. Tragic loss there to the Großdeutschland, but as I was saying, generally sort of there are the units sort of receive their own small battalions, and there are also two sort of units sort of detached from the Großdeutschland, later formed into full-fledged units of their own, which also had Panzerfusiliers. There. Kuban's moving up there, grabbing territory, could again sort of combine it with breakthrough tactics, allow them to more rapidly grab territory in the night, to Kryptic further economic damage that way. Leichtest Infanteriegeschütz firing in there, trying to silence the Soviet mortar. Looks like he's so far not replacing the Panzerfusiliere. They were tragically lost in the fight against Ivan. Volkswagen up the Sturm Pioneers, got Engineers fighting away, heroically pushing forwards. That's the way, Dimitri. Just keep them burning horribly. Second Panzerfusilier unit there arriving for Vonmanteuffel. Territory there secured. Units there forced away as well. In the east, we got Consul pushing back the officer, causing the rest of the unit to break, and we got the fuel pond there being lost. Meanwhile, Kuban continuing the pressure down the left flank. Looks like Kupsning in, there we go, hits there on the mortar by the lightest Infanteriegeschütz. There we go, using bombard, good. Some players do tend to neglect the ability, which is really sort of where the line finger gun basically gets all of its veterancy bonus to actually make it better. It's basically all the bombardment, the barrage ability. If you don't use it, then you're kind of wasting the light infantry gun. Also, we've got shock rifle there for Kryptic, we've got shock troops up, we've got no tech up though, no tech up so far beyond the supporting company here. But there you go, heavily armed assault engineers ready to move in and clear out the fascist house for house. Kuban, he needs to be careful. So far though, Vonmanteuffel is maintaining good pressure here versus Kryptic. There's also sort of a rare situation where sort of the western fuel point is helped by the north and the southeastern fuel point is helped by the south. Generally it's very much this south, this one very much north. So a bit of an interesting and very rare split, I would say, on this map. Panzer is here versus the conscripts. Steel hand Granate. Granate! Ja, wie no, Dieter. But I'm supposed to say so. Yeah, but you know, no one else is around. You don't need to alert the Russians. Molotov off then return though. Almost got the shock troops there using the officer and Sturm Pioneers. The officer does boost nearby troops. Sadly, of course, he doesn't get a single bonus there in terms of veterancy. Shock troops pushed away. Engineers flanking in. Kuban pulling back. Engineers there under heavy fire from the double wagons. Both veterans in one. Now though, Kryptic is really pushing back against the Vonmanteuffel. He's got plenty of fuel there. He could consider hitting up going for the schwer panzered quarters and gain some armor, perhaps, or some Obersoldaten. He could try for a mechanized regiment, rushing out a Lux. I mean, he's got some options there, but you know, they need to be taken in the first place for them to really matter. Officer halted again, a bit rubbish there for Vonmanteuffel. We've got the Kuban flanking in there, catching the conscripts then a pretty nasty crossfire. There we go, counter-attacking, anti-tank grenade up there. One Kuban almost knocked out. Ah, Scheiße! The other one blocks the way, and they're going to need to get on that at least. Or what is he doing here? What is he doing? Can't see for the smoke. Truck on the way, Panzerfeld is moving up. Why is he not pulling back the Kuban? He's actually moving ahead here. What is he doing? Is it a misclick? Some weird pathing glitch? Who knows? But looks like he's going to lose both Kugelwagens then. Rather tragic loss there for Vonmanteuffel. Sturmpanzer moving up, and there we go. Second Kugelwagen down. That is 420 manpower, so just gone there. Rather than 40. He's able to salvage it, obviously, but still, I can't imagine that was too fun. Panzerfleet continuing on. Got the G43s on the way for them. Shock troops moving up here. Got Maximus and conscripts pressing up the right flank there. While of course you also got troops pressing overall, ensuring, you know, that Vonmanteuffel flanks under constant pressure. I mean, he has to either deal with that, of course, also and try and get out on the centre. So in that sense, overall good tactics here displayed by Kryptic, good aggression, and not just, you know, sledgehammer tactics to a certain extent. Or just brute force, I suppose. Almost got the upgrade there, the G43s. More grenades off there, and the Panzers need to be careful actually. They're down to 2 men, and we could see the shock troops and then to wipe them out. They're full health. Or of course the engineers could do it. In that case, Vonmanteuffel might in fact have pushed his Panzerfleet beyond. That was close. That was close. There we go, we have panzered quarters up from Vonmanteuffel. Kryptic, though, is now in command on the map, having wrested it violently from Vonmanteuffel just, well, not too long ago. And there we go, good hit there from Leichtsinfanterie, shoots grenade, flushing out the officer, but he's quickly back in action versus the Kommunisten Schweinhunden. Mines down there for Kryptic. Both fuel punching on the Kryptic's control. Ensuring Vonmanteuffel can't easily go for any panzers, even if he wanted to. So that's going to delay any panzer force going to get. And of course the schwer panzer going to cover the flank here. Because now it's also going to draw the attention. We also have a field gun out now here for Kryptic. Couldn't try and deal with that with the schwer panzer quarters. Constantly pushed away. We got Maxim up here, dominating the area, making it hard there for Vonmanteuffel to move about. Of course he could just bombard it out with his Leichtes Infanteriegeschütz. Officer back, Panzerfleet full going to be moving out. You probably could go some Obersoldaten with a light machine gun. They could be quite handy there versus Kryptic at the moment, going for the western victory point. Light victory point lead for Vonmanteuffel, but that's quickly fallen back. And there we go, we got the Obersoldaten, hardened veterans of the Großdeutschland Panzerdivision. So they're running towards the building, crashing through the windows, killing numerous men, and there we go. We actually got breakthrough there, allowing them to rapidly render a point neutral in a matter of seconds. Even the fuel point there secured for Deutschland. Fighting a bit here. John Pioneer sticking with the canvas is a rather sizable Soviet force, and he has to retreat there right past everything. We could see a wipe there, which is going to hurt for Vonmanteuffel. But no, looks like he didn't move up the shock. He actually kept no distance there. Small blessing there for Vonmanteuffel. Not just continuing up here, trying to push these, but he's going to have to react here to the pressure on his Schwerpanzer quarters. If he loses that, that could end up very badly for him. There we go. We got the Obersoldaten out. Troops continue to grab territory on the east, while the pressure continues here, sort of. Very slow though, very slow. There you go, opening up in the Schwerpanzer quarters. They can't seem to hit the building there. Is blocking a bit of the fire. Panzer is rushing ahead. Sturmoffice here, Obersoldaten also moving up. Moving away the Volksgunners. Looks like he's trying to flank in here. Giving up the points here, and there you go. Incendiary barrage as well. Shock troopers on the move, and there you go. Conscripts almost arrived out there, but looks like they'll just barely get away. Constant artillery fire there as well. Like his infantry, if you're smart one trying to deal with some of the support weapons, keep that away from someone who could try and bombard the field gun. Forces there pressuring, conscripts pushed away, so making some light progress. But the primary threat right now is the field gun. He's desperately trying to repair the Schwerpanzer quarters. Men toiling away. There we go. Line for gun firing away. No barrage there, but still pushed it away. Saving the Schwerpanzer quarters, at least for now. But he's very likely to run straight into a mine there. Let's hope it just has not like the 1st Panzerfusilier unit, which rather suffered tragically. Smoke grenade down there, allowing his shock troops to pull away without their full retreat. Could perhaps merge him with some conscripts. Pressure forwards again. And no, he's using it to basically rush back here, allowing his opponent to focus on another unit, then perhaps allowing the shock troops to sneak up. Cheeky Kryptic right there. There we go, light machine gun on the way as well there for the Obersoldaten. He can actually go for a Panzer IV right now, and I do believe he should. There we go, Panzerkampfwagen 4 on the way for the Groß Deutschland. In these, we got forces there versus conscripts really occupying the building. We got Molotovs up there for Kryptic, so obviously he can easily flush it out if he wants to, if he's paying attention. And there we go. Frangible incendiary grenade of doom. Grenades going down though, and artillery. Shock troops moving about here. West side of the map rapidly being grabbed. Fuel point as well. He got the Obersoldaten on the Maxim, flanking it there with the LMG 34. If they could see it. Come on, Dieter, you saw it moments ago. Yeah, but what if they moved? Oh, you're such an idiot, Dieter. Panzer IV almost done. Troops taking losses. Sturmpanzer running from the north. There we go. We're seeing here that Kryptic losing ground. The Obersoldaten do provide quite an anchor point here for the rest of his forces, as long as you can keep them sort of in decent position. KV-8 now on the way for Kryptic. Flamethrower tank. His Panzer IV's almost done, but still going to have a trouble dealing with that. But he can get the field gun though, and that's really his brain priority of thinking, he can allow his Panzer IV to operate a lot more freely and deal with everything else. Panzer is pushed back, but so low on health. So low on health after I pass the enemy. Wiped. Another tragic loss there for Deutschland. Several heroes to the end. And there we go, we got the KV rushing straight for the centre. We got the Panzer IV there on the way though. Obersoldaten officer retreats. Panzer IV there engaging. KV8 first shot fails to penetrate. We got a pinback machine gun on the way. Mines going off there, almost firing out. The Obersoldaten in the process. Another shot failed to penetrate there. Looks like this Schwerpanzer Corps more luck penetrating the KV8's armour than the bloody Panzer IV. Another failure to penetrate. Field gun there hits against the Panzer IV. Secures a hit there. Line gun there firing again. If he can try and silence it with some barrages, he might just be able to clear it out and again allow his Panzer IV to operate more freely. Of course, have to see Eastern Fuel being lost again there to Russian infantry. Troops hanging back, reinforcing. Storm Pioneers officer, but the Obersoldaten needs to get good shape as well. And we got a second Obersoldaten squad there on the way for Vonmanteuffel, adding more elite infantry, something to further try and bleed out the Russians. And there we go, going straight for the Schwerpanzer quarters. Panzer IV moving up, has to deal with it. Field gun not moving up, hasn't even reinforced anything. There he goes, finally a penetrating hit there from the Panzer IV. And Mortify almost hitting the Sturm Pioneers, repairing the Panzer IV. There we go, we got an engagement there, 2 units versus 2 other units. They got mortar nearby, sending grenades versus the mortar crew. Occupying the building rapidly, artillery fire going in, Panzer IV could ease them up support, or the officer could. Either way, that could easily, I think, give the Germans the edge here in the town centre. Artillery firing down on both sides, causing some casualties, but not really amongst the Germans. Hops moving, and there we go with that. That should really sort of ate them out. There we go. Units being pushed back, though in the end both Volksgruppe retreated. That leaves him in a bit of an awkward position. Panzer IV not moving. Not moving at all, in fact. There we go, more artillery fire. 11 kills there for the Leichtes Infanteriegeschützgruppe. Second Obersoldaten team up to join up with the rest. A heavily elite assault team with light machine guns and of course a dedicated and fanatical officer ready to lead Germany to final victory. Or something similar. Field guns opening up there, trying to shoot through the houses, not quite succeeding. Obersoldaten here versus engineers. Not enough munitions for a grenade, so has to fall back towards the rest, draw them out in the open. Troops reinforcing, needs to get those back as well. Going towards the east instead with this very elite force. This time here for the mid-game analysis. Counter chase in terms of damage, they're very close to each other. Kills-wise, Vonmanteuffel has the lead, or have the lead in terms of army value. Vonmanteuffel is ahead, but he's not quite as ahead as he perhaps would like to. In fact, they also somehow mirror each other a bit there, which is a bit worrying. In terms of points held, things are a lot more back and forth. You can also see here that Kryptic has been better able to hold the territory compared to Vonmanteuffel. And that's certainly something Vonmanteuffel needs to work on in denying to his opponent. I was currently looking at things, more focus on the munitions point. The more munitions you can get would be good, both for grenades, but also perhaps laying down some mines to help deal with Russian vehicles, infantry and such. And otherwise, I think you should prioritize trying to knock out that field gun, wreck it, or at least take it for himself, and then use the Panzer IV to rush down the KV-8 once the field gun is gone, and there's nothing to really aid the KV-8 versus the Panzers. Obviously, another option could be just try and flank the field gun once it's ascertained where it is with the Panzer IV, cleared out, then deal with the KV-8. Either way, field gun needs to die, KV-8 needs to die. If he could do that, he should overall have a better hand there versus Kryptic. In terms of armor, considering he's playing against shock rifle, so far we've seen absolutely no tactic from him. He's obviously probably also thinking that, so he's going for this good old Führer syndrome and straight for knives too. And considering that, he could end up being forced to go for the Jagdpanzer IV, which preferably would not have to be the case, but he could be forced to go for it. But in that case, mines would be very good to have on hand as well, but also, getting those upgraded as well. Otherwise, trying to apply more pressure on the flanks, and perhaps consider gaining a Kugelwagen just to help grab territory while the force infantry sort of fighting out the front line. For Kryptic, if he's going for it, great, but at least consider getting up for some tech to add in some extra, like say some SU-76 at the very least, or half-tracks, just something a bit of extra. Mines would also, of course, be good for Kryptic, and otherwise perhaps some more support weapons, another Maxim to help deal with the infantry, and always just keep up as otherwise. He's overall been utilising his forces pretty well, so there's not so much else to comment on there. So let's return to the fight and see what happens next. Another field gun would also be pretty good. Well, he's getting this one merged somehow, reinforced. Panzer IV blitzing through the walls, yaha! Going straight after those Verdammten engineers and shock troopers. Opening up on them viciously, we've got more constant moving in, we've got Storm Pioneer supporting. Closing in eventually ever slowly. Artillery firing down, there we go, Molotovs all Storm Pioneer retreat. Oh yeah, retreat! Might be too late there, might be too late. Oh, almost wrapped the shock troopers, almost. Artillery firing back and forth, there we go, Fultz is charging forward straight to the KV-8, he's not paying attention, Scheiße, Vonmanteuffel, what are you doing? Field gun moved up there, leaving the KV-8 actually exposed, but at the same time the flank of the field gun is also exposed. Panzer IV on the attack, we've got the officers supporting, though we can't really sort of do anything for that. We've got the Obersoldaten flanking in there with the LMG-34, tearing apart the contract out in the open, almost there getting a wipe, but ultimately not. Swiftly moving onwards there with troops and officer, and field gun crew there, bit exposed well to the Obersoldaten. If you could wipe that again, that would be pretty good. Kryptic's getting closer to the eyes too. Just a matter of moments, and there we go. Almost got it. Almost got the field gun crew, in which case you should wreck it, or steal it, or salvage it. Either way, do something with it. There you go. Vonmanteuffel, get the field gun. Wreck it, or steal it. Just do something with it. Obersoldaten need to retreat, by the way. Oh, no. Too slow there, too slow. KV-8 moving up. Panzer IV tension drawn away from there, and we got the IS-2 on the way. No infantry rushing ahead there to try to cure it. He's got troops hanging back. Oh dear. That's definitely, I think, a bit of a failure there by Vonmanteuffel. That could prove to be critical. IS-2, though, setting up there for Kryptic, heavy armour, to challenge the fascists. Panzer IV moving up, engaging the engineers, machine guns blasting away, the engineers running away. Bullets whipping across them, or around them. Across them, that mean they'd be dead. There you go, IS-2 opening up in the Panzer IV. Almost reaching one there, but the Panzer IV is going to struggle in the head-on engagement, simply put. Panzer VI arriving, a Kettenwerfer arriving, field gun still there. KV-8 flanking on the Raketenwerfer, not good, not good. No one's bothering with the field gun. Moving up the traps, trying to deal with the KV-8, they're using the Panzer VI, needs a Panzer IV as well. There's the Panzerkampfwagen, Jürgen. There is it. Max is moving ahead, out in the open, exposing it. Field gun though has now been recruited. And once more the Panzer IV finds himself a bit more limited on the battlefield. Got access to the Yak-Tiger, but obviously that's not going to be of much help. Too many resources to get that, and then you might as well just go for the King Tiger almost. Panzer IV down to half health, field gun IS-2 keeps pushing ahead, they're forced to be suppressed. Little support line for the gun, not really bombarding. Again, could try and use that to silence the field gun. Orbital Soldaten sitting up there with the officer. Now both are light machine guns, Leichtmaschinengewehren. Hanging back there, eastern flank exposed. Kryptic keeping up the pressure there, while keeping Vonmanteuffel attention on the centre. Looks like someone's critically stuck in the treads. Get me out of here! Yet! Kettenwerfer sitting up there. Oh, nasty hit there. Pretty much hold the officer and the rest there. Almost got the MG30, not the MG, the Maxim, though that's also an MG technically. Kettenwerfer not shooting at the IS-2, and he can't. That's a bit unfortunate. Panzer IV flank in, failed to penetrate, forced to continue moving in, then need to be careful, there's a lot of contact there, more hits. Kettenwerfer still not shooting. Guessing there's something wrong with the house and the Kettenwerfers. IS-2 then gets away, rather unfortunate there for Vonmanteuffel. He's got the fuel for another Panther. Could have gone to try and wait for a Panther now, which I suppose is an option, and perhaps a better one than going for a Jagdpanzer now. Better to then the light infantry gun. We got artillery fire down there. In this case, though, not really hitting anything. Need to regain the eastern part of the map there. The victory points, in fact, the victory points are quickly going to take against there from Manteuffel. He's not careful. And we got the field gun functioning as artillery as well. We go into tank, penetrates, but of course doesn't damage since the Panzer is not full down. Oh no, lost the Kettenwerfer there, too slow to retreat. Shock to machine to the officer. Either use target them or force retreat. Oh, there we go, force retreat. Shock to was pushed away. Orbisland flanking in against the conscript crew, turning into them with the MG34, shooting up the west. Pushing any aggressively, could consider perhaps using breakthrough tactics or allow them to more rapidly render points neutral and just push forwards. Need to keep up the pressure there versus Kryptic, but at the same time need to keep some kind of coherence so you can easily react to the KV-8 or the IS-2. Panzer IV takes another critical hit. Sturmpanzer is all the way over there, that is definitely not good. And there we go, the KV-8 strikes. Need to retreat the Orbital Soldaten, Scheiße! KV-8 continues like a Soviet dragon, turning into Vonmanteufel's troops and defences. He's got nothing to deal with. He's got some Panzer VIs, but that's about it, and they are quite vulnerable to the KV-8. Back at base, IS-2 being repaired, troops reinforcing, going for the point there. Still no sign of breakthrough tactics, except that one time, and there you go, he is going for the Jagdpanzer, despite being now actually very close to the Panther. I would probably have to describe that as something a bit worrisome, but we'll of course have to see how used the Jagdpanzer. He might be able to pull it through, I guess, but I'm not frightfully confident in it. More shots, there we go. Folks going to be pushed away. Panzer IV's going to need repairs. You might want to consider getting out more Pioneers or perhaps a mechanized regiment to sort of help repair on the Panzer IVs and now the Jagdpanzer. I mean, the longer he has to keep his armor pieces off the field, the more of an advantage Kryptic can gain himself with what he's got. IS-2 setting out there, rolling through the wreckage of the town.
Jagdpanzer, ready for action.
There you go, Jagdpanzer arriving with its high velocity 75mm gun, similar to that of the Panther, though in game it doesn't really operate on the same level. Next one there looks like He's going to push through here in the west, not bad. Instead, just trying to break through right to the center. Oh dear! Demo charge down there. He needs to get some mine troopers then. They go pushing up. Obersoldaten and Jagdpanzer. Shock troops need to be careful. And we got breakthrough. Good, good, good. And also good that Vonmanteuffel is just trying to shatter his way through the center. Sort of trying to attack here where things are easier and not have their chance of drawing up the enemy into some less prepared positions. Jagdpanzer needs to open up, but the fence in the way. The fence is in the way instead of opening up here on the KV-8. Panzer's opening up there in the IS-2. Needs to use a Jagdpanzer. What's his gun? And units wiped somewhere. Oh, it's the Obersoldaten. Obersoldaten got annihilated somewhere. Not sure where. Oh, the shock troopers did them in. The shock troopers. And they got the MG-34. Scheiße, and he replaced them with Panzerfusiliers. Not really on the same level, to be honest. Though they are more durable. Still that hurt, and that was his most veteran Obersoldaten. I'm not entirely sure I placed them up there anyways. They could have been easily crept on. There we go. Jagdpanzer, Panzer 4 engaging. Here we go. Artillery should be raining down the field, and as all this happens, he wants to silence it. He needs it gone. Shots bouncing off the IS-2. There we go. Jagdpanzer gets a penetrating hit. Obersoldaten officer moving in. Shots fired at the building. The Maxim holding out there for the time being. IS-2 has pulled back less than half health. Jagdpanzer though is also less than half health. Jump Pioneer is moving up, but again, get the field gun. Get the field gun. Bombard it. Gun is shooting at the Maxim set, not at the field gun crew. Panzer is moving up straight into the KV-8. Jagdpanzer needs to move up there while the field gun's occupied, you know, with the Panzer 4. Come on, Vonmanteuffel. Use the full extent of your forces. Strike them down with the might of Deutschland. Panzer 4, those closing on Vetch 2. There we go, Obersoldaten. Opening up there, and the field gun could get it. Panzer 4 taking heavy damage. What are you doing? There we go. Wreck it or secure it. Get up some false grenadiers, grab it. Don't stand about in the fire. Troops moving up. We got the IS-2 moving in. Obersoldaten need to retreat. Almost got the KV. There we go. KV-8 down. Jagdpanzer needs up. Obersoldaten need to retreat. Scheiße, Rückzug. Scheiße, he didn't retreat them. Units moving up there. Jagdpanzer opening down the IS-2. Almost got it. Troops rushing forwards. Lantern gun shooting, but not really mounting to much. Jagdpanzer pulling back. IS-2 looks like he will get away with this. He's just called in more Panzerfusiliers to replace the losses. Other Panzerfusilier unit back for reinforcement, having taken quite some beating somewhere else. Map control-wise, things as quick as living out there for Vonmanteuffel. Obersoldaten there with the light machine gun, an absolute threat. Body armor and an MG-34 plus, of course, all the PP-841s they could ever want. Panzer 4 then a dire state. Panzer 4 is veteran 2-1, which doesn't really help with that much at the moment. Losing territory as well. Kryptic maintaining a good pressure, and the field gun is still standing. Grab it or wreck it, Vonmanteuffel. I suspect he's regretting with the previous one again. If he had that, the field IS-2 would have been a lot harder to get anywhere with it. It would have been a lot easier for Vonmanteuffel to deal with it. Or if he just wrecked it again, there'd been a lot less for it at the very least. Instead, he sort of, again ends up doing nothing with it. Basically handed it back to Kryptic and allowing Kryptic to support his heavy armor with it. Okay, he's still not trying to grab it, he's just looking at it. Yeah, we could grab it, but it smells like antifreeze and communism. I don't like it. Troops moving ahead there, Panzerfusilier is responding. With the K98Ks and the G43s. 75 points left, not looking good. Panzer 4 though is fit for the fight again. Veteran 3 counters versus not quite veteran Panzerfusiliers. The counters are winning out here. Panzer 4 though arrives. Jagdpanzer needs to get ready to support though. There we go, good. Devastating hit. Panzer 4 under fire, fails to penetrate. IS-2 sitting out here. Field gun again, not in any way helpful since it's just standing out there. Jagdpanzer needs to go up. Schnell. And shock troops moving ahead, straight into the line of fire there, the Panzer 4. Panzer 4 down to the field gun. Is he bombarding it with his light infantry gun? Nope. Panzer is being rushed here by the shock troopers. Not really much they can do. The shock troopers are simply too well armoured, too heavily armoured, and well, they're too veteran. Field gun moving up. Still no attempt at silencing it with his own artillery. Grabbing some territory in the east, that's good. We got Constant moving up. So at least he's realising he can't just try and rely on brute force and just waste troops. Good. Officer moving in here. A bit on his own there. And clears out in the open. Yep, Constant needs to there you go. Try and penetrate at the very least, but seems to so far have zero luck in doing so. Constant moving up and stealing the field gun right under Vonmanteuffels' nose again. It's really amazing how he keeps doing this. Now, of course, has to try and deal with it. Of course, gives the IS-2 then more time to deal with the rest. There you go. Good hit. Wiped half the Steel Pioneer unit. Now it's back turning 2 field guns there. Vonmanteuffel needs to pull back his Panzer. Pull back the Panzer. Scheiße, Blitz. There you go. Got the field gun crew, but it's already too late. Too much damage suffered. Jagdpanzer, there we go. And cautious movement. Halfway to Vetchi for the Laxin Infanteriegeschütz. Full Grenadiers need to get up. Officer needs to get up. Whatever he can get up. And there you go. Jagdpanzer halfway to Vetchi 2, but also halfway to its grave. There you go. Field gun almost got it, but the Jagdpanzer's almost Vetchi 2. Further fighting here, needs to get off an incendiary grenade. Brandhandgranate, Helmut, where is it? Troops here halted by the Maxim. Shooting there, almost got it, but still no bombardment. No bombardment whatsoever. Veterans free there. Ooh, sliver of health, but looks like it gets away. Cheeky bastard. More Steel Pioneers away, looks like he realised he needs something more to repair. He could also try and go for a Panther now. I suppose he was completely desperate. He could go for another Panzer IV just that way. I know getting more into attack firepower versus the IS-2. They're still leaving him deeply vulnerable to the infantry. He needs to put more effort in against the victory points. There we go. He's now using breakthrough tactics a lot more to just quickly render them neutral, ensuring at least he can't be drained with them. That is something. But again, he seems to be ignoring the field guns an awful lot. He's not really, prioritising them, despite, they are quite vital to the Soviet defence and overall destruction of the German armour. Can't help but find that a bit strange from Vonmanteuffel. Volkskunde is forced to fall back. He has done alright otherwise. 29 kills isn't exactly something to scoff at. A fresh KV-8 there for Kryptic, who's just been lying on Collins. Bit unfortunate. Yeah, Panzer IV repaired. Panzer IV almost repaired. Nothing further though. Manpower's just now going to the infantry, which keeps getting slaughtered. Of course, the armour isn't quite there to support it half the time. Yeah, Panzer setting up for something. Got the eastern victory point, we're losing the western, central one, also assault here. There you go, opening up in the bit. KV-8, yeah, Panzer arriving, needs to silence the field gun, no silence it. Almost got the KV-8 there. Good assault, but taking a lot of fire there from the field gun. Panzer IV down to half health already. Need to get the field gun, need to get the ice opening up. Yak Panzer shoots, scores, Veteran 2 shoots and up, more health. There you're driving, Jürgen. Whoa! Was that intentional or what? I don't know. Oh, wait, that took a lot of unnecessary damage, I would say. Panzer IV versus Conscript being absolutely shredded here by the G-33s in the hands of these hardened Panzertruppen. Sturmpanzer moving in, but with no support, they are rather left to their own devices. The IS-2 opening up, shock troopers, conscripts, Maxims, what else is there? And he needs his Panzer IV repair, which is very close to Veteran 3, which would definitely help him with more rate of fire. Moving on, troops there for the east. Yeah, Panzer hiding up a bit there. 50 points left, not looking good. Comes the air from the Schwerpanzer quarters. Really should consider some more armour. Another Panzer IV, I think, right now would be good. You could then launch an assault. They're trying to clear out the field guns for the Jagdpanzers blast away at the IS-2. And the IS-2 is trying to shoot the Panzer IV, and want to clear out the field guns. You can sort of just more specifically focus on the IS-2. Another incendiary artillery barrage, I think, over here. Right in the centre to prevent the troops from just going through there. IS-2 gets another devastating hit, and the Volksgrenadiers, and there you go again. Breakthrough tactics. He's ready to sacrifice the Volksgrenadiers in the process. In fact, these guys, they're wiped and they dropped a Panzerschreck. The losses are really piling up for Vonmanteuffel here. Obviously moving towards the west, but we got shock towards the machine guns. We got conscripts there. Absolutely defending. He's better off actually in the Panzer first, but the Panzer, of course, is being repaired. Panzer is flanking in. Looks like they might try and get it, but we got the eyes too with Dushka. And of course, halfway to Veteran 2. And the officer here managed to force away the shock troopers using his force retreat ability. Very nice. We've still got the conscripts, and the officer doesn't have any veterans. Push back. And the Panzer Fusiliers were wiped. Another heavy loss there for Vonmanteuffel and the Ghost Sights. We've got the Panzer moving ahead here. Very close to Veteran 3. Field gun opening up. There's the Yak Panzer. There is the Yak Panzer. And why head on? It seems like he's forgotten about his ability to try and flank and attack elsewhere. Instead, he's now just, in fact, relying on just brute force tactics. He's desperate, and that is clearly causing him to make some rather poor decisions. Halfway to Veteran 3. Ever slowly there. Still Pioneer is pinned to the ground. The Veteran 3 Maxim pretty much holding everything there in its tracks. Not enough for Tilify. In fact, it's Veteran 4, which will actually make the Drowdies, I think, much more devastating. Yak Panzer slips back into the darkness, into the shadows. And more Panzer Fusiliers. Seems like he's just given up in the Obersoldaten, despite, you know, there was nothing wrong with them. It's just more how Vonmanteuffel handled them. Oh well. Grab the central point. In fact, he's losing every single victory point again. His Panzer IV not receiving repairs. He should perhaps have considered eventually a mechanized regiment just to repair the panzers. Even if he wasn't intending to go for a King Tai, just, you know, not having to rush his Sturmpites all the time there to sort of have to manage, I think could have done a lot there for Vonmanteuffel. But at this point it rather looks like GG. Caveat number 3 arriving there for Kryptic.
We are now down to 25 points.
Yak Panzer flanking in. Almost Veteran 3. Very close there. Panzer 4 slowly closing on Veteran 4. Line for gun finally on binding again, trying to perhaps silence the field guns, but it's too late. And there goes 6. No, he's not even shooting at the field guns. 3. Got another KV8, and there you go. GG. Game over. Kryptic was having to make that sacrifice. Vonmanteuffel has lost. A loss for Germany, a victory for the Soviet peoples. Overall, to an extent, I mean, Vonmanteuffel played nice. It's only played for certainly less than the standard cheese play of the Oberkommando, you know, mix of everything. That's good. Problem was, in some sense, he's struggling to properly utilise. He also, I think, failed to prioritise the field guns. He should have realised how much of a threat they are, and field guns can really cause a lot of problems for German armour. Yet he didn't, which really gave Kryptic a large hands up. Then there were several times he could either wreck them or stolen them, or even salvage them, but he never did so. And that basically allowed Kryptic to keep on using them without much to worry about. And that, I think, was one of the things that really allowed Kryptic to just always rely on Collins, is those damn field guns. And again, Vonmanteuffel never seemed to catch on, and that really hurt him. That was some mistakes with his Obersoldaten, which caused him to be wiped out, and then replacing them with Panzer Fusiliers, who are a bit expensive, sort of fully reinforced, rather undermined him in the longer run, ensuring he couldn't get any more armour when he probably should have. The Panzer IV, Yak Panzer, yeah, I mean, combo-wise, alright, but, you know, he was a bit too passive with them. Again, it took ages with them several times to get them repaired. That was another factor that really undermined Vonmanteuffel, the fact they were several times out for entire minutes, doing nothing, when he should have been pressuring, he should have been flanking. In that sense, you know, while he was good enough just bashing head on, you're trying to rely on brute force. At the same time, he wasn't too strong a flanker when it came to his armour. Had to use his Panzer IV, Yak Panzer a bit more aggressively. In that sense, I think he could have done better. But again, the field guns really paid off there for Kryptic. Again, that was one of the mistakes there for Vonmanteuffel in general. If you're fighting against a Soviets that got field guns, knock out the field guns. They're really sort of one of the main things there, because again, they are so durable, they take time. But again, they perform almost on the same level as the Pak-40, so they are very dangerous, in particular with veterans. They become really dangerous. So that is a very important thing there to remember as a German player. Mines would also benefit from Vonmanteuffel though. Kryptic, well, he could have tagged up there again. It's partly because, again, his opponent wasn't too sharp there on the field guns for flanking that he did so well as he did. So, there you go. But I hope you enjoyed this match. I hope you learned something from it. I hope it gave you ideas for matches. If you did, why not subscribe, tell a friend, share it with everyone. And, of course, as always, feel free to provide comments and feedback in the comments section. Of course, if you liked it, you know, remember also to press like. So, thank you all, and hope to see you all another time. This is Imperial Links, cheers, and see you all tomorrow.